Every single thing in an iOS app, whether it be made on BuzzTouch or made anywhere else, or GameStyle or anywhere else, every single thing in an iOS app extends something else. It extends something else. So a UI button, what does that extend? A UI view, right, which comes from UI kit. That there's a tree of every type of object. The UI view controller extends NS object. A UI window extend, right? Everything extends something else. And that's the magic in what Apple did for us. The iOS SDK gives us all of the stuff to extend.
Right? To extend is a programming term.
Exactly. That's a programming term. Also, you'll hear the word API, object-oriented. Right? These are all programming terms to help developers who understand programming terms, who have training and experience, go, that's awesome. I can make a magic button connect to Scringo by extending the UI button class.
I would have
and
found
on I go.
today.
To newcomers, that's completely foreign. And that's what BuzzTouch is trying to do, is help people go from being newcomers and having some quick success with some pretty simple apps, getting excited about it, to maybe sticking around, maybe getting enthusiastic about it. Well, there's a lot of opportunity here for me to make money, to have fun, make a living, make friends, whatever. If you stick around long enough, you'll realize there's no magic here. It's not about being secret. It's just a great way to do it.
So you might be good at design, and your friend might be good at programming.
Right.
And right now, I think we're a slighter on people that are good at programming, so that's why Kitsy is such a key part. But we'll get better at that. But everyone has their own expertise, and we find partners with other people that are good at the things that they're not good at. Like I'm not good at design. I have no background in design. And so I need to find people that are good at design.
I didn't realize the number of people that would want to that had no idea how it worked. I'm the kind of mind that when I want to learn how to do something, I want to learn like literally how. How is my sailboat going? I don't want to just sail. I want to know, like, why is this thing going upwind and how is that even possible? And then I look into the lift and the current and the pressure and I want to understand it. Well, I didn't realize there'd be that many people who wanted to make apps that didn't care to understand it. There's lots of people that just want to make it.
But some of us care. Like I care.
Exactly.
I want to know that, but you can't just like I care. I want to know. It's a process to learn it.
No, yeah.
Unless you're Kitsy or Chris Wan.
So I respond very, very well and make really good friends and value a great deal people who want to care about it.
Right.
That's just a personal thing for me because when you're like-minded, it's a cool friend, right? And
I think that I have a hard time understanding, so I don't care. But if I don't,
it just
press the button and it goes.
Right. I naturally gravitate towards people who want to nerd out and like figure it out and make it better. It's completely okay to not care and not be interested in code. I'm just telling that for David, right? I love hanging out and nerding out and making the nerd tech stuff. I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be hard. And I want it to break, and I want to see it compile it work. And I want to go, it doesn't work anymore, let's fix it.
How do you guys go from having that plugin developed to the stage we just said and going to somewhere, like GitHub or something and getting some carousel code or the tic-tac toe
Okay, you go to GitHub and you get any kind of screen,
and then
I can almost guarantee you that it does not extend the BuzzTouch view controller, because the guy who made it has no idea what that is.
Yeah.
And it extends the UI view controller.
So that's the only difference, and then
Probably.
you just change it around.
Change it to BuzzTouch view controller, and I bet it'll compile and run.
There's the only problem with GitHub. You've got a lot of people who put stuff in the app delegate, so you have to swap all that in.
You have to understand that kind of the next step or whatever. So what we didn't do is connect any of the data in our cool little plugin.
We've lost the screen.
Our plugin doesn't do anything. What did I do
Yeah.
here? It doesn't do anything. So when we hit back, depending on he decides, we'll make it do something. Like let's hook a button to it.
Yeah.
Let's make those connections because I think people lose their mind. Like, how do I make it do more?
Exactly.
Well, that could mean a million things. You want to do something when you shake it, swipe it, tap it, throw it, drop it, stomp on it. I don't know, right? So, but it always boils down to the same thing. Capture the event, shake, tap, swipe, whatever. So capture the event, figure out where the next screen is or the next thing, and then trigger that.
Is it one thing that
It's always that way.
In BuzzTouch control, you go add an image and you just add an image to that. And if you want to put a sound, you've got to go to the code and write the name on the. Why? You want to use the control panel for it to play a sound.
Thomas, you're in charge. Speak up if we need to stop talking.
Yeah,
I'll answer the question and then we'll start wrapping
Okay.
up because
The question was, I want to add a background sound to my project or a sound to my project, and I got to go to the, I think he said literally, I have to go to the code and type in the sound. That's the question. Right? One of the things that it does when it launches, step, it initializes the audio player. That's the player that will play your sound that you're all pissed off that you got to type about. Right? The next thing it does is it loads the sound effects. Okay? In a literal way, you're adding a sound effect.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's look at that method. Remember, it's not can, it's how do I.
Yeah.
So let's look at that method called load sound effects. Load sound effects down here. Where is it?
2 down.
There it is. And let's look at it. These are the sound effects that are commented out.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is uncommenting these and changing the name. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it works. What you want to do is not have to type these in.
No, I want
And you want to do it in the control panel.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Like I do it with the
Valid.
image.
Fair request. It used to do that.
It used to.
Yeah. And what we learned was people had a big long ass list of sound effects. Right? Oh, cool. I'll just enter my 9,000 sound effects. Like the person, really, people
Yeah.
don't understand what, and that's largely our fault for letting them do that instead of giving them better guidance or whatever, but they type it in their sounds, they bought their little sound kit from wherever and they drag it in, they type. What happens when you load the sound effects is that happens when the app first launches. Okay?
Yeah.
So that they play instantly when you tap the button or whatever, they don't have to load individually.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it's intensive to load a sound effect. It takes a lot of memory, power, processing speed. Load 800 of them. It takes time. It sucks. So their very next question is, my app won't launch. Hey, dumbass, you're the one who put 9,000 sound effects in it. Right? You can't say that, but that's the technical reason we don't have it in the control panel, because it leads to a lot of other problems. So we should do a better job.
But if I'm going to use 9,000 sound effects,
We
I'm going
should-
to put them over there anyway. You know?
We should do a better job at two things. Fixing the way the sound effect player works, so maybe you should load them slowly or in the background and just play them when they're available, maybe something like that. Teaching them the control panel, hey, this is the result if you're putting 9,000 in there. Little
But yeah, this
education,
is for the soundboard.
right?
No, I was just thinking, no, it's just something that I remember to
Totally.
an image.
Or-
You just type the image in and it sounds
Or I
like
can
I'm
just say, you know what, I'm
thinking-
commenting this out, I'm going to put it on the download server, and when somebody asks, I'll answer the question, which is where we are right now. So, really, I mean, there's tons of things that need to be improved and could be improved. It's never ending. The more we improve, the more we know we can improve more.
I'm curious about why that was.
That's
you
a
know?
super good question. It's super valid. And really what should happen is the sound effect loader, and concretely really, it should be used kind of sparingly. And even the super sophisticated games, they don't have that many sound effects loaded. You know, a dozen or so. It seems like a lot because they're playing them together and they're playing them strategically, but it's not that many sounds. And people who don't understand that tend to
Like
kind
break,
of...
yeah, okay, I get it.
And then a sound effect, they'll load what we also found is they'll load a song. A song is not a sound effect. In my mind, sound effect's like a 1 second ding or beep. A song? And I'll get an email
Yeah,
that says,
I
my
got
Britney
it.
Spears sound effect won't play. I'm like, what? Because what that means technically is hey, you want to load Britney Spears and Rihanna and Katy Perry on launch as a sound effect. So there's a disconnect between person who doesn't understand and person who's trying to help. That happens all the time. If somebody's willing to type in the code a little bit, that already helps me understand what kind of dialogue we can have. Like, cool, they're not afraid of this.
No, I was ready to. I just needed to understand why.
Yeah.
Why with the sound you have to type it and not with an image.
I almost
just
had
curious, you know.
Yeah,
That's one of the big, because with the sound effects, if it was to be lazy loaded onto the View
Mhm.
controller, so for, say you're only putting that screen on the
Yeah.
and release the memory from that. That's how I've done it with the.
What we should
sound
probably
effects.
do is get rid of the sound effects in a global sense and do it screen plugin by plugin. But now what ends up happening is there's a whole bunch of plugins that rely on the... Hey, so hand me that case and I'll send you to your break, but I need you to come up here. Let's present you something.
Yeah.
Look behind you.
What?
Look behind you.
Yeah, so come here for a minute. I'm going to give you something to talk about here for a second. Make you laugh a little bit. Some of us remember this yesterday. Quick story and then we'll go on.
Right. Yeah.
You know I like to sail.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So do you know what a yacht club is?
Yeah.
Okay, try to describe what a yacht club is in the best terms, best words you can.
Little portion of the boats.
Perfect. Collection of members who have yachts. So just like this is a collection of members who have iPhone apps. There are different levels of yachts.
Yeah.
So like ghetto yachts, like barely floating, small, dangerous sailboats, not really yacht, right? From that, all the way to some pretty spectacular yachts. So one of the traditions that we have as yacht club members, and I'm the Monterey Peninsula Yacht Club person, is we have a burgee, a flag, and we trade this flag amongst basically two things. We give this flag to other yacht clubs, and hopefully they'll give us one back. We tried this yesterday. The Royal Thames Yacht Club basically threw me out. My jeans and out of here. Lord, we run into some pretty wealthy folks yesterday. We had a blast trying.
Really cool.
We were sneaking around in their club with my little flag, and I'm like, what?
Taking videos of
I took a picture yesterday of myself in the Royal Thames Yacht Club because when I get home, I'll be like, look, I went in there and gave them our flag, and they threw the garbage, but whatever. So we give it to other yacht clubs, and the other thing we do is we give it to friends of ours who are important, which is, in my opinion, you're an important friend of mine. I'm going to give you a Monterey Peninsula Yacht Club flag, which doesn't say Monterey Peninsula or anything on it. It's got the California Bear on it. And if you're not a sailor, that's for you. If you're not a sailor, it still can be cool.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to know that it's like a sailing history thing or whatever. But I'm not, you're very welcome. I'm not a gift guy. I just don't go out and buy things for people. But I wanted to give you something and say thank you for doing this. Regardless of what we do or don't learn today or how much we love each other. Thank you. This is very, very cool. So, you're very welcome.